I think we're on 23. Holy moly, we are moving right along, y'all. I feel like we've come so far, and I also feel like we have a long way to go. So we're going to pick up right where we left off. Let's keep building out these. Well, I say keep building out. Let's start building out these fingers. So with face selected, we're going to shift click our fingers. Okay. And all we're going to do is just extrude out. This is old hat to you by now. Now, if you want your character to be an Edward Scissorhands looking mamma jamma, that's fine. Or a Freddy Krueger, Nightmare on Elm Street, depending on which type of horror you like. The Wes Craven Stinger type, or the lovable but misunderstood Tim Burton type. Or if you just want regular human hands, then you can just bring those fingers on in. Okay, so I'm gonna bring these in here. I'm gonna kick to use my references. We can pop in wireframe mode, that's cool. And then I'm gonna grab it. See, I grabbed it up, but we don't really want that. You know what we want. We want along the x-axis. So we'll just go about here. Extend that out to the end of the middle finger. Let's see how it looks in top view. We're probably going to extend this middle finger out a little more when it comes to it, but for the time being, that's fine. I'm going to kick back into solid mode and make sure my screencast keys are on. Let's add a little more geometry. So the reason we added this space right here is because we're going to add we're just going to add many more edges. Like watch. So we're going to add one here. Let's get that going. Let's get one here. Escape out of that. Let's get one here. Escape out of that, and let's get one here. Escape out of that. So even if we add more, which we might, if we add too many of these edges and edge loops along our mesh, what happens when we connect them back to the arm? And there are way more edge loops on the hand than on the arm. So this is why we create this gap right here. Okay, and again, we want to be super nitpicky with our geometry of the hand, because the hand is just a wild extremity. All right, it's not a trunk part like a shin or a quad or a forearm. There's just weird movement with the hand, so we really want to nitpick when it comes to this type of geometry. So let's go to vertex select and start collapsing some of those vertices that we talked about doing. So we're going to merge these vertices. We can right click, or we can just hit M. Okay, and we want to merge these at center. Okay, and then we want to do the same thing over here, and we want to merge these at center. Okay, and what we've essentially done is we have loads of geometry up here, and then we're kind of bottlenecking it into suitable geometry that will connect to the geometry of our base mesh. Comprende? So let's go to edge, select 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we're going to dissolve these. Okay, and that should be quad structures. Quad, 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 quad. And I know this looks like a triangle, but you can see if you click in vertex mode right here, right? There's your fourth. Now, that's great, but what do we forget? The other side, okay? Like every great story, there are two sides here. So let's do the, unless you're Bobby Kennedy, in which case there's 3 sides. And bullet to the back of the head. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, and then let's merge these. I just right-clicked, merge these at center. And then we're going to go 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to hit M, right, which is the equivalent of right-click, select, merge. It's just a little bit faster at center, okay? And then same thing. I want to dissolve these edges. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Hey, now all I'm doing is shift clicking, right click, dissolve edge. Okay, you with me? Now, take a look. We created, I'll go to hit 7 to go into top view. We created a bunch of extra geometry, and then we took the necessary precautions to funnel our geometry into proper geometry, and now we can go 1, 2, and hit face, and then just go face, 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 and look at that. Okay, so this is how you add all this extra geometry without needing to add any more geometry to your body. And we have funneled our edge loops correctly into the arm. So now we have the geometry we need on the hand and the geometry we had on the arm. Okay, does that make sense? Man, I hope so. I hope you were able to do that. And if you weren't, go slow, or watch it again, or go slow and watch it again. So now that we're here, this is a good spot to do what? What do we want to do right here? We want to save the F out of our work. Click 7, then go into aerial view. And what I want to do here, let me alt-click, Shift-alt-click. Here, what do we need to do? Do we have this? Okay, this is what I want. And then I'm going to move this a little closer to the knuckle. And then, what we can do is we can scale this along the y-axis just to kind of keep that form a little bit. And then let's add some more geometry here, because we are going to want to add some volume in a little bit. And, well, the more quads we have, the more volume we'll be able to make. So now what we want to do is we want to build out the thumb. Let's get face select and go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. See how it's down here a little bit? Is that what we want? Yeah, so let's inset this with I and inset it a little bit. How about there? Okay, let's smooth that out. Okay, yeah, that's pretty smooth. And then let's G. All I'm doing is hitting G. You guys, I'm going to grab that here and start to pull out our thumb. Okay, let's see that. There. Yeah, that's probably too far in the early going. Just let's get there, okay? Okay, we'll build that out momentarily. In the meantime, let's add another loop cut here where those knuckles are going to hang out. And let's get another one here. What we can do before we start to dive in on these fingers is jump into sculpt mode and really just smooth out our mesh, you guys. This is old hat by now, right? You guys know what we're doing. You know how to do it. I'll make this a little smaller. And let's bring this to life. All right. All I'm doing is I'm just pressing and dragging, and you can see immediately, what it does to that geometry. Just kind of smooths that out, right? Okay, it's a little more organic than it was before. I actually might want to use my grab tool. Let me kick into top view, and here I'm going to squeeze this down. Now you can just pull this out. Same thing that we did with the body, right? Like bring okay, and obviously we got some work going with the fingers, but the palm area is looking sharp and organic. Okay. That up. Bring this down a little bit. Bring this up a little bit. Kick that back. Nice, and we'll take care of these knuckles one by one. So let's jump back into edit mode. Look at the bottom of the hand here. You know, I'm actually okay. If your model has a fat hand, you might want to bring this out a little bit. Ours, you know, the one that I'm modeling really just has a pretty dainty hand. Okay, so one thing I do want to do is we're going to edit this geometry right here. Okay, the hand does some weird things, and we want to make sure that our geometry is optimized to do the weird things the hand needs to do. Okay, so with our knife tool selected, this is gonna be a little weird, but again, you used knife tool last time. We're gonna use our knife tool again. Let's click here, and then just come down. Okay, and we're gonna come down, come down, come down, come down. And then right here, come down again. Then we're going to bring this, and then we come up right there. We split this in half right there. Split this right here. This right here. This right here. This right here. And then we hit enter. Okay? And that locks it in. Okay, now let's swap out these triangles. So let's go, with my selection tool selected. I'm going to select, shift click these and dissolve these edges, and then create another cut with my knife tool here, right there, and right there. Then I'm going to lock that in with edit, with selection selected. I'm going to select this edge, right click, dissolve. So you see how we swapped our geometry up top? Okay, so if this worked, which I think it did, we can go to face select and check our edge loops. So there's a good one right here. So our, you know, the heel of the palm that connects to the thumb is its own edge loop, and then here we should be able to, oh yeah, look at that, outstanding. Look at you, what a beast, what a magnificent beast you are. Let's kick one and go into side view, looking sharp. So now let's start to build out these fingers, okay? So I'm going to kick into side view with numpad 3, and then I'm going to select all of the tips of our fingertips, from my hips to my fingertips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And see how these are boxed? What do we want to do? We want to go to Tools, Edit, Loop Tools. And if you don't see this here, Edit, here, Loop Tools, here, Circle, you probably don't have it activated. In which case, go to your add-ons, or if you are from the WordPress ecosystem, an add-on, it's essentially like a plugin. It's the exact same thing. And we find that in Edit, User Preferences, Add-ons, okay? Let's scale these individually. So we'll scale that. There, scale that in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Scale that in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Scale that in. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. Scale that in. Now, obviously, these all need to be tailored to the individual finger. So I'm going to go to, just for startsies, let's use our reference, okay? And we can even bring it in here. So I have these selected. I'm going to grab it and bring it here. And now here is my pinky finger. And then here's my ring finger. I'm going to grab it and bring it about here, okay? My middle finger is actually a little longer. Great. Here, I'm going to scale this in as well. I'm gonna scale this in as well. Okay, and I look, I know I'm in wireframe view, but you should be able to, I say you should, I will not should on myself today, and I will not should on you. It is my hope that at this point in the tutorial you understand what I'm doing. I'm just selecting this, which is really just a way of selecting the faces. I'm just doing it from on top. And you just line up your fingers. Now, if you're using the reference we're using, which again is Daniel Kreuter's illustration that he provided to the community, so show that man some love. Go to that channel, because that guy just does some stellar work. And okay, so those are ballpark. And if you look, so we have circles here, but what we don't have is circles here. We're still boxed in here. So let's go to edge select now. And this is, now it's just clean up. And we go 1, 2, 1, 2. And all I'm doing is shift clicking. And then shift clicking. And then hitting circle. And the same thing happens there. Okay. And we can scale that in. All right. And there's our pointer knuckle. And we're going to do that times 4. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where are you at? There we go. 6, 7, 8. Circle. Okay. We can kick into side view with 3, numpad 3. Scale that in. Maybe bring it over like that. Okay. Let's come up here. Scale that. That's probably a little too much. I'll undo that. Okay, so you want the bounding box center. I clicked that, and then when you scale it, it goes back to being a seemingly normal scale that clearly wasn't there before and affected this one. So let's alt click around that. We got those. We're gonna need this one and this one, and then let's scale it on the Y. See if it cleans that up. Yeah, there. That's what I was looking for. That's what I was looking for. And we will clean up this geometry shortly. Okay. So in the meantime, let's keep making our 1, 2. Let's keep making our square knuckles into roundish knuckles. Okay. Circle. And then scale it. There we go. And then same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Circle. Scale that in. Oh my goodness gracious. Escape out of that without even realizing I had them both selected. 3. So I'll do that again. Okay. And let's go scale that like that. Okay. We go here. Alright, so our knuckles are starting to form, and everything's a little more circular, a little more organic. And let's save our work, and then let's go into sculpt, and go into sculpt and smooth these out. Okay, we like it smooth. Smooth is our favorite. Like jazz. Actually, I don't like smooth jazz. I take that back. I like crazy jazz, acid jazz, wild, improvisational jazz. It's reckless, it's dangerous. Okay, now let's kick back into edit mode, and this with vertex selected. And what you see here is not if you have this kind of overlap here, that's obviously not what you wanted. We want to create that webbing effect. Okay, see how we have some kind of really jagged geometry here? We want to remedy that before we start sculpting. So select the innermost vert and then just bring it down on the z-axis. Okay, and then grab this one here and bring it up on the z-axis, and you create, you kind of create the webbing of the hand. Capiche? Okay, same thing here. Same thing here. Same thing here. And same thing here. Great. Okay. So now we've got webs. Now we got a little web happening. All right, now let's add some knuckles. Okay, so the primate hand evolved such that all digits, excluding the thumb, have 2 knuckles. So we're going to create 2 loop cuts to signify the knuckles on each hand, and we'll line these up momentarily, but for now we're just establishing geometry. Okay, so I'm actually going to kick it into wireframe mode and go into top view, which is 7. Now the primate hand evolved such that the bottom base of the knuckle is longer than the middle base of the knuckle, which is longer than the end of the finger where there is no knuckle. Okay, so this is shortest, middle length, longest, and then the palm. Okay, that's just how we evolved. And what's awesome about mammals is that bat wings have the same structure as the human hand, as do the flippers of a dolphin. Like, if you were to look at the flippers of a dolphin and the wing of a bat and the hand of a primate, you would see 3 completely different things. But if you strip the skin off, the bone structure is identical. It's just a beautiful and haunting piece of evidence for Darwin's wonderful claim. Okay, so let's bring this out here like that, and then I'm going to alt-click all those, bring this in here, and then I'm going to take this and bring this here, and there's my pinky. Okay, so this one is actually good here, and this one is actually good here, and there's that. I'm okay with that. This middle one for the middle finger needs to come out a little bit more, about there. This one can come up. All I'm doing is grabbing along the x-axis, which is totally fine. Go right ahead. Bring about there. This one needs to come out a little bit here. And this one needs to come out a little bit as well. Okay, great. So these are the core structures of these are the knuckles of our fingers. Now that we have the knuckles of our fingers, let's just add some more geometry so that we can build out our form. Okay, so we're just gonna add 1, 2, 3 for each knuckle. We're gonna add 3 more edge loops in between our knuckle joints for all of our bones, for all of our fingers. Okay, just to add, we'll be able to add volume, we'll be able to add structure. It just makes what we're doing a little bit easier. And all I'm doing is Control R, click Escape to lock it at center. Control R, click Escape to lock it at center. Control R, click. And what I mean escape to lock it at center is that if I move, I'm no longer at center. I escape out of the movement, and it puts it right where it showed up, which is equidistant. Click Escape. Control R, click Escape to lock it at center, and Control R, click Escape to lock it at center. Okay, we should call it there. And we got a good hand base, good finger base coming. In the next one, we will finish the fingers and the thumb and the hand and go from there. So get up, get some water, come back to it, and we'll pick it up in the next one.